Hey everybody, it's Captain Kyle, and I'm here with this 3-pack of third-party Transformers. These are the Insecticons. They're the new age, the Legendary Heroes version of the Insecticons. We have the Electronic Warfare Berial, the Espionage Energon, and then the Psychological Asmodeus. Yes, but of course we know them as Shrapnel, Kickback, and Bombshell. And I'm going to go through this very cool set of Insecticons, see if they're cool, see if they're good enough for your collection, and we'll go from there. Be right back. So they come in this very nice box that showcases all three of these Insecticons, has nice artwork on the top and on the back, something that's very reminiscent of G1, though obviously not G1. And there you go, you have pictures on the sides of them in their various modes. So it's a very nice box, but we'll take care of that. So I'm going to very carefully slice through this tape, gently open it, fold back the flaps, and pull out this set and get rid of the box. All right, so here they are in their plastic. You can see they have Energon cubes with them, have weapons. They look very nice. They are in robot mode, and they come with this placemat size instruction sheet that you could eat a nice meal on. I don't know if I'm really going to need to refer to these instructions. Some of these third-party things can be quite complex. So these are tiny, I have to say. Let's get them out of the plastic here, and already things are flying around. Apparently there is part of Bombshell with his weapon that goes into his hand, which makes him look a little more like the G1 cartoon with the much smaller gun on his head. There's of course Kickback with his gun. Now the original slid over his pincers, and this one he has a fist with a hole that you can put the gun into. And we will take Shrapnel, Berial. He also has a nice weapon, and we'll put him there. So he does fall over, but it's probably more my tablecloth than anything else. So there they are. Let's take a look at them one at a time, and they have Energon cubes. So a little bit of Energon flies around. All right, let's fold this up before I kill myself, and we'll put the Energon cubes over there. All right, let's take a look at these guys, starting with Bombshell, who always kind of seemed to be a bit of the leader. So he is very small, as you can see, and in his robot mode, he's got a bit of posability. His legs can do both a regular and a toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. He falls backwards sometimes. There we go. He bends at the knee. So he's got a lot of posability. He has elbows. You can move his arms out to the side. I think that's also part of the transformation. There's a ball joint. As you can see on the back, there's these big ball joints. The head can turn, and he can twist at the waist. So he can do all kinds of cool poses. Now, he's not a very large bot. You can see him next to the original G1 Bombshell. He is much shorter. He also seems to have a bit less kibble, and I think looks a little bit better. Not that, you know, we always love G1. But overall, a cool little bot. Definitely a great version of Bombshell. And the elbows even have the ability to turn to the outside. So he can do like the shrug maneuver and then whip his gun around and shoot a cerebro shell right in someone's head. Because, you know, that's what you do. So let's check out his insect mode. So these are obviously smaller than the originals. But one of the interesting things about the Insecticons in the comics were that they actually transformed into bug size. Yes, just as Soundwave could become a very small tape player, they could one-up him by becoming actual insect size and hitch rides with Autobots into Autobot headquarters. So there he is in insect mode. Not a lot you can do. The weapon becomes his, I don't know what this thing is. I don't know. It's his shooty thing. He's got legs. There's not a lot that you can do with him in this mode other than wiggle his shooty thing. and have him fly around, but he's a pretty decent version of the character. He doesn't have wheels on his legs to roll around like the original, and obviously the original is much bigger, and though it has an homage to this, it doesn't have the little Diaclone pilot seat in his chest. It just has a little yellow bit that kind of is reminiscent of that. But cool little Insecticon. We'll put him over there. And next we'll take a look at Shrapnel. Shrapnel. So Shrapnel, very cool little bot. He's got his antennas. Again, posability, night and day compared to the original G1. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Goes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. Arms are extremely maneuverable. You can go to the side. He's got an elbow, very ball-jointed shoulder, so he can go in all directions. And his head can turn quite a bit, so he can look in all directions. He even has ball joints on the feet, so you can have him fall over. Or you could actually put him into a pose that looks kind of cool. So again, very cool. Looks a little bit different than the G1 one on the back. And size-wise, again, he is very, very small compared to the original. Again, the originals, except for Bombshell, you actually slid the gun over, and they had these little Diaclone chambers in their chest. But again, there's a lot of homages to that, but it's not exactly the same. Very cool bot mode, and having it the smaller size actually works out if you want to have them attacking Autobot City of Metroplex, you know, the new one that I don't have, or pretty much dealing with any type of Autobots. They're kind of similar to core class size, but let's check out Shrapnel's insect mode. So there's little Shrapnel, or this is Berial. This is Asmodeus. So here we are with little Shrapnel, and you can actually put his gun into the peg that's at the bottom of his feet that goes into the back. You can move his antenna about. He's not a bad version of the character, and actually has a bit more posability than the original, which, you know, can still roll. And again, has the pilot seat, but this one is just for show. I mean, these things flip around, but that's part of the transformation. You can kind of put G1 Shrapnel's gun on him in insect mode, but I mean, actually, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the gun on either of them. So if I was going to be using this guy, I would just put the gun aside, just like in the old G1 days. But again, a very cool version of the character, albeit a bit small. And finally, we have the Kickback Transformer. Abadon. I think these are all like names of demons. What are they thinking? Legendary heroes? But again, like the others, lots of movement for the arms, lots of movement for the legs, full Jean-Claude Van Damme, the head can turn, and the waist can twist. I didn't really show it with the small Shrapnel, but his waist could twist too. It's part of the transformation. But again, a very cool looking version of Kickback. Even has joints in the feet, and you can put him in all kinds of wild and crazy poses, like so. Of course, scaling wise, he's much shorter than the original. And I don't know what Hasbro was thinking, but check out the legacy. I mean, thing's friggin' huge compared to the original, and he's supposed to be an insect. Cool toy though. So there's Kickback. He's actually a little more complex of a transformation, and with some of the parts I was a little concerned about breakage, but these guys, I have to say, overall are good quality and nothing broke off, except his wings can come off, but they pop right back in, so that's not that big of a deal. But he's a small guy. You can store the weapon here in the back. It's actually where his arms kind of come together, and pretty cool. Small. Not too much you can do with him in grasshopper mode. And the transformation is actually kind of similar to the G1 in the fact that you just turn the head around. But there he is next to the G1, and it's ludicrously small next to the new Legacy version. But it's definitely a cool set of third-party Insecticons, a little smaller than, again, all the other Insecticons out there. And they come with Energon cubes. Now I have to say that for the price, this set was like $49.99 plus shipping plus tax, almost 60 bucks. I don't know if in hindsight for such small guys that I would actually pay that much. I mean, not made of money, because that would be fucking weird. But considering the craftsmanship that went into them, the packaging and everything, it's borderline worth it. But again, 50 bucks for a set of 3 Insecticons when you might be able to get the originals for around the same. I don't know that it's 100% worth it for that cost. So I will put a link down in the description. You can check them out. I do like them. I'm not gonna send them back. I think they're cool toys, but I may put them back in their very nice box that I threw over there and just display them that way. But if you'd like to check them out, again, link in the description. I got them from AliExpress. It took a while to get here, but the packaging was perfect and they are cool. Just again, 50 bucks cool. That's really up to you. While you're deciding if this is worth it to you, you know, there's some other videos over here you can check out. There's a subscribe button if you haven't already. You can subscribe, that'd be awesome. Give us a like. You can even give us a super thanks now, which is cool. And of course, comments are always appreciated. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.